Cleveland Browns played everybody except Kenny Pickett at quarterback. Kenny didn't play a lick during the preseason because of an injury. Flacco looked terrific.
Mm-hmm.
You saw that. I mean, you see why Flacco's the starter.
Yeah.
End of story. Dylan Gabriel looked good. You know,
he did.
He had some good times there. And Shador had his worst outing of the preseason, without question. Now, the question is it because of Shador, or is it because he's playing behind or with a bunch of guys that are going to get cut? And then when it came time for the 2-minute drill, he took him out. And they put in Snoop Huntley, who they proceeded to then cut the next day. So I don't know if they wanted to give Snoop a little solid. Appreciate you coming here. Here's some 2-minute tape for you to show for your next employer.
That must have been it, right?
I guess.
Because why else?
I don't know. Because you know the narrative. The narrative is the Browns are just trying to do Shador dirty. They did him dirty in the draft, even though they drafted him. And then they did him dirty throughout the, training camp season where we hear this is that, the other thing, not doing too well. And then he goes out and he balls out against Carolina and looks amazing. And then they pulled him after a long-ass day of preseason. But it looks like he's going to make the team. And Kevin Stefanski, probably the first time in his 2-time Coach of the Year career, being asked, why did you pull the 4th-string quarterback for a 2-minute drill?
Yeah, obviously, I don't concern myself with outside type of things. But I'm committed to his development, just like all of our rookies. So we'll continue to focus on getting our guys better. And that's what we'll stay committed to. And that's what's important to me.
And did you, I'm sure you kind of answered this last night, but why didn't you keep him in for the 2-minute, or why did you decide to take him out?
Yeah, nothing more than decided to give Snoop some work at the end of the game.
There you go. I honestly, I think it sounds like, let's give Snoop some tape before we cut him.
Right.
I was texting around with some of my colleagues about, hey, is Shador going to make the team? Every single one of them says he's absolutely making this team. And it's 4 quarterbacks, and it sounds weird because it is weird because you don't usually keep 4 quarterbacks on a 53-man roster. Somebody's going to be wearing pajamas every single week, and the point is, why? If you need an extra lineman, you need this, you need that. And that may change week 1, week 2. There's a rash of injuries.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's going to get cut. And the question is, who's it going to be? And I'll just say this, because I hear this a lot. This is the reason why nobody drafted Shador, because the coach, 2-time Coach of the Year, is being asked, why didn't you put this kid in for the 2-minute drill? And if you name any other person that could be 3rd or 4th on the quarterback depth chart, nobody cares. Nobody's going to be talking about it. Somebody could have been pulled in the 2-minute drill situation by their coach who's 3rd or 4th on the depth chart. You don't hear it. And this is why you don't bring in Shador. That's why you didn't bring in Tim Tebow back in the day, because it's a circus. And when I hear that, all I think of is, if I'm part of a team that takes a kid like Shador or Tebow, or name anybody who comes in, Manziel, right, from back in the day, although he was a first-round draft choice. But I think you're getting my drift. I always hear that, and I think to myself, if I'm this coach of this team, I take this as an insult to me and my ability to coach and also remove distractions. I get insulted by that, because it's him, he chafed at the question, and then he got a follow-up, and he answered it. And is he then going to leave the press conference and go, why don't we draft this kid? I can't believe I just got 2 questions, and it took up 35 seconds of my day. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
I doubt it. Why? But what's the big deal? So you asked a question about it. And he's talking about developing a quarterback, and he's got a very good, talented quarterback to develop. I just don't know how you're going to develop him. That's the honestly, distractions. Yeah, screw distractions. Well, screw the distraction. It's not like this kid is like, look at me. And I know you might push back and say he went up to the coach and had something to say, I guess. And I mean, you're advocating for yourself. Like, I want to show my 2-minute drill. He might be sitting there thinking, I'm going to get cut, so I need to go on out there and show you what I can do after a long-ass day here. I'm better in the 2-minute drill than what I've been handed over the last few quarters here. Or, I mean, first few snaps here. So, you know, I neither here nor there. It's just 4 quarterbacks, and if you think they're keeping him because his name is Sanders, I think that's ridiculous. They clearly see something in him. I'm just concerned about how he's going to get developed. And it's not just because it's a Cleveland thing, because Stefanski, this just in, is really good at this thing. You know, 11-win seasons in Cleveland, 2 of them, and coach of the year. Like, he knows what he's doing.
Well, weren't you talking to, was it Mike Vrabel a couple of years ago when you asked him about in London about Will Levis? And, you know, during the season, these guys don't get any practice time if you're second or third string. So that's the concern there.
If you're just going down that road real quick. Yes, in reference to that, it was a couple of years ago in Vrabel's last year in Tennessee. We were calling a game in London with the Titans being part of it. And at the end of the broadcast meeting with the broadcast team with Vrabel, the coaches meeting, I asked him how Will Levis is doing. And he basically said, I don't know, because we don't have the ability to get him up to speed. We don't have the, I'm paraphrasing, we don't have the ability to
reps
marinate. We don't have any ability to develop. Yeah. And I walked from that meeting to the practice field to watch the Titans with Kurt Warner. And Kurt has very specific ideas on this sort of thing, because part of the reason why he was able to go on the magic carpet ride in St. Louis when he had that opportunity dropped out of the sky by the football gods and the injury gods, much to the dismay of Trent Green, is because he played in the Arena League, but most importantly in Europe. And those are important reps. And for whatever reason, NFL ownership decided to not spend the money anymore on Europe. Now, those seeds that were planted in Europe are showing green shoots and massive returns right now with the crowds and the interest level over in Europe. I think for sure the fact that the NFL is as big in Europe as I personally have witnessed is because of, laugh all you want, Rhine Fire, you know, Amsterdam Admirals, who Kurt played Barcelona for, but the London Dragons, right? Yep. And for whatever reason, the NFL decided that's just not worth the bang for the buck, or coming up with staffs and moving them over to Europe. What a massive, in my mind, wasted opportunity. Grow the sport and give your prospects a shot in the. I know there's injury concerns or whatever, but when is somebody like Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel going to get the opportunity to show a rep? They're going to get thrown into a game, and it's going to be potentially troubling. Name anybody that's going to be thrown in there. I mean, look at Anthony Richardson. How is he going to get any better? Mental reps?
You really think that the NFL should partner with the UFL and make these into developmental minor league teams in a way?
Brother,
have these guys play in the spring and get better.
If I was a member of the National Football League, first of all, this whole team, all of us, we're not flying commercial.
Thank you.
I like that.
It's good to know. Yeah.
Air RES.
Now we're talking.
Okay.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Warm chocolate chip cookies.
I got you guys covered.
Day.
I love that you go chocolate chip cookies.
Hot towels, CJ.
No, I mean,
warm nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Cheese platter.
Mimosas.
We're talking about the same thing, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So, cashews.
I got you guys back.
Yeah.
That's the headline.
Yeah.
If I got those commas and zeros.
FBO.
But in terms of making the sport better, I would be pounding the table in every single one of these owners' meetings and saying we have to do something about developing quarterbacks, because they're for the grace of the injury gods go any of us in this room. We got to, like right now, Tanner McKee may not be available for Philadelphia, right? Week 1. Mm-hmm. They're going to throw Sam Howell out there on Thursday night to kick off the season if Jalen Hurts gets dinged up for a second. Right? I mean, everybody is one play away from having a potentially highly unready quarterback ready. And you're spending all this capital and on draft choices for quarterbacks, and people's jobs are on the line. I'll tell you who would appreciate that sort of thing would be the scouts, whose jobs are on the line, the general managers and the coaches who make these decisions. I mean, with all due respect to Jackson Dart, how he has looked. Has he thrown his last meaningful pass until his next? If and when he gets thrown in by the Giants against who knows whom? What's he going to do between now and then? I guess the virtual reality world can help.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, just to go down that road of quarterback development, I would start a new league.
The UFL is right there. Just partner with them.
Right.
It makes so much sense.
But the issue is, too, the pushback I might get in the ownership room is like, so I draft somebody like Anthony Richardson top 5. I should throw him out on the field in the spring? That's what I should do. I should throw him out on the field in the spring against a bunch of people that are trying, absolutely trying to get a job in the NFL and might not be good enough and do something stupid. And then there goes his knee. There goes his shin. There goes this thing.
Could happen anywhere at any time.
I guess. But you have to develop quarterbacks. I don't know how they're going to do it. With any of these guys. Like Shador's going to make the team outstanding. Good for him. Because, again, I don't believe that this is like a conspiracy theory that the Browns are keeping him just to, snuff it all out. Right? That makes no sense. It's insane. But they're going to have him there.
But he's not going to get any reps.
I don't know how you're going to get him. The same thing with Dylan Gabriel, because at some point, if you're going to keep Pickett, that's the guy. If Flacco goes down,
he's the backup. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you're keeping Pickett, because you got to give your team a shot for a season rather than just throwing to a raw rookie.
They're going to trade one of those two, right?
I don't know.
Well, one of the rookies. They can't trade Pickett because then you're going to have 2 rookie backups.
Well, you saw.
I meant Gabriel or should
right.
Because obviously someone's going to get hurt.
How about this one? You saw Aiden O'Connell go down, right?
Yeah, out 6 to 8 weeks, broken wrist.
If you're Vegas, do you take a shot?
We thought Vegas was going to take Shador to start with.
Now I know Pete says we need somebody with experience.
Pete wants a veteran.
I don't blame him.
Yeah,
I don't blame him. But that brings somebody else up. I mean, do you take one of these kids?
Why not? What do you offer, though?
Nothing.
Yeah.
7th round pick? 6th?
Well, only if they're going to cut him, and they say they're not.
Right.
One of those two are going to be on a different team by
we shall see.
October.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.